client. So if it's okay with you, David, I'm going to do a presentation from the doorknob.
Please.
Customer answer, hi.
Hello.
I'm
going to
going
be customer.
to lean over because I've got everything that I bring into the house over here. So I'm going to line over here. So I use a Mojo dialing system. And the reason I do is if you'll notice right here, I have a lead sheet. You probably can't see it, but it has the client's name, address, notes. Okay. Here's what I know about him. I know the month, year of birth. I know how long he's lived in the house. I know the house value. I know his income. I know what county he's in. I know the income band. So I have a tremendous amount of information on the client before I've ever talked to him. But when I come to the door, I have a business card with my name on it. I hand him the card. We have an appointment for 10:15 this morning. May I come? Yes, I was looking forward to you. You might have heard that I look a little like Henry Winkler. I'm tying into my appointment setter because that's what he says quite often. And because I have a clipboard, a catalog, I'm going to show you this and I show it to them. There's a reason for that. I want to get to where? The table. Okay. Business is done at a kitchen table. It's not done in a living room. It's not done in a patio. It's done at a kitchen table. So not only am I walking in quickly, but I'm walking in with a reason to get to the table. I've got to open up this catalog and I show it to them to present to you. And I really need a table to do that. Could we sit at so not only do I get to the kitchen table, I have a very fundamentally good reason for getting to the kitchen table. Okay.
What happens after you're there? How do you introduce the catalog? What do you say? How do you go through it?
Well, basic sales is the front talk or getting to know the person. How long have you lived here? Where'd you come from? Chit chat. You kind of want to do, it's called a warm up. You want to warm up a little bit, but my warm up is at the kitchen table is my point. So I'm going to warm up. I'm going to try to identify, I'm going to get some common ground. If they're from New England, the Midwest, find a few things out about them. If they're, what's this all, generally with me, cause I'm kind of chatty, I'll eventually about 5 to 10 minutes in go, what is this all about? And then I go to so I've warmed up. What's this all about? Let me tell you about Randy, myself, and the purpose of the visit. I run with a very experienced 32-year experienced agent in the field, and we complement each other. He's a closer pusher. I'm the nice guy educator. So the two things work well together because
good cop, bad cop.
I'd be there too long. I'm slow. I could either pick up the speed or be terse, but it's not my nature to be terse. Randy's good at terse. So I introduced Randy first. Randy has had 32 years experience working with seniors. And I always say up in Connecticut and down here in Florida, because a lot of the people come from up north. I'm from Rhode Island, where I went to high school. So I introduced Randy and then I pivot to myself. Now, I, on the other hand, am a teacher by profession. About 8 years ago, I had to, because I worked with young people, I now had to pivot over to working with seniors. And I've been doing this for about 8 years. And what I found in visiting seniors is they're surprisingly undereducated or underinformed on the state, federal, and private programs that became available to them when they either turned 60 or when they turned 65. So as a teacher, I decided to make a curriculum and actually teach people what I think is important and they need to know. And the way I do that is with a catalog. So let me go through this with you. Now I'm taking control. I've done my warm up. I've done my presentation. Now I start asking a question. So what's my first question? My first question is, do you have internet access and can you go on a computer? That gives me an A or a B to the answer to that question. A, no, well, I'm not that good with a computer. And well, the good news is I'm just like you. So I'm old school and I've printed it out for you. We're going to leave this with you. So I'm now giving them a gift and it looks substantial. I've got a catalog, I've got my business card. I've got a lot of pages to go over. And I've just told them that I'm going to leave it with them. So now they go, oh, this guy is actually delivering a catalog of senior services and contact information. So I've gotten credibility to the reason for my purpose being there. I don't want to pivot over to the annuity conversation without first developing my reason for being there. So if they don't have a computer, good news is I've done this. If they do have a computer, I go to the next page on the computer and I say about 60% of what's in this catalog comes from a very good source, which is the Department of Elder Affairs State of Florida website. And I show them this page, which has the icon of the state of Florida. If you get to this page, now I'm going to talk them through how I produce the catalog so they can go back and get it. So if you get to this page and you call up Polk County, which is where you're at, you're going to get the physical addresses and contact information for everything in Polk County. What they're not going to tell you is how to get the best information out of these resources. I'm going to show that to you. Now, I'm there to teach, so I pull out one of my teaching tools, which is the highlighter. And I'm going to highlight, but basically I'm taking control of the paper, okay? I'm not just giving it to them. I'm now manipulating the paper. I'm having a personal contact with it, and I highlight on the paper. Bear with me because I don't have my glasses on, although I do have my reading glasses here. I'm going to highlight the Elder Helpline. Okay. And if you look at it, I've highlighted the Elder Helpline and the phone number for it. Then I go into a sales presentation on the Elder Helpline. In the state of Florida, the state of Florida has well-funded counseling services that knows everybody's business in every county all over the state. So if you go to the physical addresses of, let's say, the housing department, they know what they know, and that's all that they know. If you really want good information and access to where to go first, if you start with the Elder Helpline, they'll get you to not only the primary source, but they'll give you other resources to go to that you won't get if you go to the physical. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. And then I've gotten the agreement. Now, if on the Department of Elder Affairs website, it's 498 pages of some of the driest reading you're ever going to read, because I read it all and it wasn't that all that exciting, but I was able to pull out the ones that I liked the best. And let me show you the one I like the best. And so I turn it over. And the first thing I do is to go through what I think is a great deal and should be in every state because it's a federally funded program. Every time I talk to a new agent that's putting together his catalog, I say, follow the money. Okay. It comes from the federal government to your state for this purpose. Find out where it is in South Carolina. So Title III funding comes to this state for the purpose of free legal assistance. And I said, now this is the best deal going in advice, because if you have a legal question on it, and it's called the Florida Senior Legal Services. First thing I say is this is not legal aid. This is not low income. It was actually available to everybody at this table because everybody at the table is over 60. At the age of 60 in the state of Florida, you can call that number if you have any legal question whatsoever, as long as it's non-criminal. Then I throw a joke in there. Here's my joke. If you go rob a bank, they're not going to help you. Always get a chuckle out of that. Always breaks the ice. And then they start realizing, hey, this guy's putting on a show. I am. If you're a teacher or if you're a speaker in front of people, what you want to do is throw a little humor in every so often. So in your presentation of the catalog, toss in a little humor, toss in a little this, a little that, a couple of points. So I start off right there. There's my joke. And I generally will get a chuckle out of somebody and they understand that. But let's say you got a problem with the county, probably city, probably you got a problem with a neighbor. You can't get a deposit back. If you call this number, give them your issue, they will contact an attorney with expertise in that area. Then I go into the sale presentation. I sell this program. I don't just inform them on it. I tell them what a great program it is. So what I say about this particular program is they've got very experienced lawyers, which they do, because it's a good deal for the lawyer. The lawyer that's on the program, they try to get on this program because it's easy money. They get reimbursed for one billable hour to talk to you. And they will coordinate a time that's convenient for you and the attorney with expertise on your subject to talk for an hour. And here's the beauty of it. You're talking to a paid attorney who cannot recruit you as a client. All he can do is give you fiduciary advice. He can make a recommendation, but he cannot corral you. So all you're going to get is the answers to your questions, and then they'll evaluate. So it's a good deal for you. And after I've finished selling that, I've now established that not only am I delivering a catalog, but I'm delivering a catalog. I'm doing it in an amusing and interesting manner, and I'm giving them good information that will be valuable. Do you find that? And I kind of touch base. Would you find that valuable to you? Does that make sense to you, David?
So interjection here.
Yes.
Help for the people who have no experience watching any of our content before. Why aren't we just talking about annuities? Why are we talking about legal advice or, elder affairs? Can you make that connection for people that are brand new as to why you're going through this process first and not annuity specifics?
The logo from the guy that I hate most in this industry was the guy that took a lot of money out of my pocket while I was learning this business, was small hinges swing open big doors. So I'm creating a small hinge, and the small hinge, his idea was to send agents out in the field to write dental plans, and he would go out and write annuity business. So,
Right.
I'm a new agent, golly gee, can I fix your teeth for you? $65 for me, $6,000 for him. I just didn't like the balance sheet on that one. So, but I do like what he said. Small hinges swing open big doors. So what I'm trying to do is to ladder a level of credibility by doing exactly what I said I'm going to do and not introducing the topic. I don't ever know from the time I walk into the door whether I'm ever going to get to a conversation to annuity. There may not be any money there. It may be a life case. It may be a health insurance case. It may be just that these poor people just need good information. And when I leave there, my purpose there in the presentation of the catalog is to leave them a better educated senior in the future and to be a resource to their neighbors and friends. If I can...
You're using this brochure to find out about if there is an annuity opportunity, but you're doing it in a way that builds trust, rapport, connection, gives free information, that kind of thing is what you're saying.
Everything in my 18-page catalog is to get to the last page. The whole purpose. Everything up front is credibility building, information gathering, connection, presentation. Everything that I want to do is done on the last page, which is Medicare spend down. In Medicare spend down, I'm now opening up the conversation. And finally, I'm going to ask, do you mind if I find out if you're compliant with Florida Medicare spend down laws to make sure you're in a good position? So credibility all the way down, so that when I get to the tough one, if I opened up with first, oh, by the way, while I'm here, let me go right to, well, why, and I'm going to start asking you about your finance. I'm going to start, asking questions that are very, a lot of people don't like to talk
pointed
about
and personal. So it sounds like what you're advocating is an approach where you work your way into those questions as opposed to just being blunt, because the fear is if there's no credibility established that you're not going to be able to get those answers. Is that
correct?
kind of
The whole thing is to open up, is I'm laying a foundation of the appointment, the catalog, the information to be above and beyond what they expected. And so everybody thinks that there's somebody out there that, from the Council on Aging that's just giving out free information. No, I'm out there to educate and make sure that they're well protected. They know what their situations are, what could happen, ways to improve their Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare supplement plans, how to get good information from the state, how to, one of the things I do I'm going to present information to say, stay away from an insurance agent, because I'm going to give you a counseling source that's better. And
right.
That takes them 3 steps back, shocked and amazed. But when I introduced myself, I don't think I got this in my presentation. Did I go over? I'm licensed and regulated through the Department of Financial Services, and I put it right on both sides of my 3-ring binder. But nobody really knows what being licensed and regulated from the Department of Financial Services means. Generally, as I'm leaving with a follow-up to come back and talk about their $300,000 IRA plan, they go, are you, and they're wondering who I am, but they're wondering who I am after 45 minutes of introduction to a subject, and I'm now coming back. Then I explain myself a little bit further.
Hey, thanks for watching this video on selling annuities. And if selling annuities is something you're really interested in, you've heard about the high commission sales opportunities, but you don't really know where to turn, and you feel like you need coaching, mentorship, training, then this is something we can help you out with. I have an annuity sales trainer named Stephen Burgess, his job is to help train you to become an annuity producer, not just the occasional one-off annuity sale, but to implement an entire sales and marketing system using your existing source of leads or using our source of leads to get you in front of high odds prospects that have the opportunity to buy an annuity from you. And if you'd like to learn more about this program, if mentorship, if coaching is something that's intriguing to you, then you need to learn more. And it's very easy to learn more. If you go to davidduford.com, click the link at the top that says Join Dave's Agency. You'll find out all you need to know about how our program works to figure out if it's right for you. Again, go to davidduford.com, click Join Dave's Agency, and you will discover a ton about how we teach you, new and experienced agents, to sell annuities successfully. Thank you.